Hey friends, I'm Richa Singh, your English trainer, and today I'm going to talk about certain words and fillers which are used to speak English fluently, which are also known as gap fillers. There comes a time in everyone's life when we run short of words or we cannot form a sentence. Sometimes we just don't know how to react, how to respond. Then these gap fillers come handy. So what are these gap fillers? Everyone needs these gap fillers because no matter how fluent you are in English, you sometimes we just our minds just stop working, and in that moment these gap fillers are really useful. So let's talk about these fillers and what are they. The first one is wow. Wow is a one word and it's a reaction, and it's a very commonly used filler. Sometimes we just don't know how to react to certain news and we just say wow. At that particular moment we don't know, we cannot construct a sentence, we just one word comes up from our mouth, which is wow. So it's a very very commonly used filler, wow, and I'm sure you all have used it in your lives. The next one is well. Well is a word of gap filler which is used very frequently. You can start a sentence well, and then it gives you a time, it gives you ample time to form a sentence in your head. So you can say, well, yeah, yeah, I'm the person you're talking about. Well, I'm going to go to Delhi tomorrow. Well, then you can have time in your hand and you can form a sentence. So well is a gap filler. Next one is you know. You know is also a kind of gap filler which is used very commonly, which doesn't mean anything, and it gives you time to create a sentence. And sometimes we just say, when you're just running short of things to say, and nothing comes to your mouth and you don't want to say so these sound very awkward. So well, in instead of these sounds you can say like I'm a little shy, she's very intelligent, like you can use it anywhere. Don't tell me, this is a phrase, and I love it because sometimes news when a certain news is broken to me and I say don't tell me, it's like I'm too shocked to react, then I say don't tell me. you know so this is a gap filler, and you must use this when you just want to give a reaction and you just don't know how to do it. So it's a gap filler, a phrase which is used as an English filler to speak fluently. The next one is by the way. By the way, it doesn't mean anything, and by the way is a phrase. It's also a gap filler. You can use it every now and then because it is a big sentence, and sometimes when you don't know how to say something, by the way, you can use it by the way and then form a sentence in your head and then use accordingly. Like somebody is talking to you and your mind is elsewhere, and you say by the way, what did you say? You can say by the way, my mind was not here. By the way, I was not listening to you. So by the way is just a kind of connective phrase, a connective thing. You want to continue a sentence and you don't know how to do it, you can say by the way. So use it to speak fluently. Next one is exactly. Exactly is a word and a gap filler which we use it's used when we are on phone or somebody is talking continuously, and you don't want to break their speed. You say exactly, exactly. You don't want to put in your you don't want to say, or you don't want to react to them. You just say exactly, exactly, because you're you're not fully present there, and still you want to acknowledge that you're listening. In that case you can use exactly. The next one is tell me something. This is also a kind of conversation starter. Like you don't want to sound too direct, and you say like don't tell me. Like sorry, sorry, tell me something. You don't want to sound too direct, and still you want to ask something. Like suppose you have heard about a girl who happens to be a girlfriend of your friend. Then you say tell me something, is that your girlfriend? So you don't want to sound too direct, still you want the answer. You want to like ask your friend this particular question which may be too personal for him, you can start it and by saying tell me something, and then you can ask your question. Or in any other occasion also you can use this tell me something. Like you don't you just you have started a conversation and you don't know how to, how to continue it or how to go about it, you can say tell me something, and then you can form a sentence. The next one is probably. Probably is also like exactly is a one word, and it's kind of acknowledgement, like probably. Or more than that, more than an acknowledgement, it's like if you're not sure about something and still like some if you're asked to go for a movie, then you're not sure, you can say probably I can make it. So probably is a gap filler which you can use. Next one is no way. No way is a reaction, a phrase which you can use as a gap filler, because no way, like suppose somebody says certain thing which you didn't expect, you say no way. It's a kind of it's a filler which you can always use when you want to say something, you want to answer somebody. Next one is to be honest. So what is to be honest? It's a sentence and doesn't mean anything, because to be honest means you're saying something which is, without any kind of you just don't want to be very like you don't want to answer something. Somebody asks you, so how much money do you make? This question is asked to everybody, that how much do you earn? And you don't want to be like, you don't want to say how much do you earn. Then you say, to be honest, I earn okay, I can meet my needs, and it's like, to be honest, I make enough money to have a good life. So it's a kind of a filler. When you don't want to answer something and still you want to respond, then you can say to be honest. The next one is right. Right is also like exactly and probably one word and a phrase and a gap filler too. So right is used when when you are in the middle of a conversation, and or on phone or directly on face to face, like on in person, then you can say the other person is still talking, and you are a part of that conversation, but you don't have anything more to add, you don't have your things to say, but that person wants you to listen to his story. Then you say right. Like somebody is narrating all his kind of tour, his travel stories, then you say right. You say right after every sentence. So it's a gap filler, and it also keeps you engaged in the conversation. The last one is you see. Doesn't mean anything, you see, because everyone is actually seeing everything. So it doesn't mean anything. You see, it's a gap filler. It's a out and out gap filler, and it's very much used also. So you see, like, it's also when you start a sentence and you say you see I'm nervous. Like, you can see I'm nervous. It's today is my first class, I'm taking the first class, and still I feel a little nervous. So you can say you see I'm nervous. So it's a gap filler, and very much useful gap filler, because sometimes we don't know how to start a sentence or how to say something. We say you see I'm in a good condition. You see, like, it's used very much. It's like a common gap filler you can use. So these are the techniques to fill the gap when you are talking in English. And there are more techniques also, like suppose somebody asks you a question that how old are you, and you don't know, like, it's also a very direct question and a personal one too. So you just don't know how to form, how to decline, how to don't want, if you don't want to answer and you cannot decline that, you can say how old am I. So you just repeat the question. It gives you time to think what you want to say. Like suppose somebody asks you what's your age, you can say, asks you how old are you, you can say how old am I. I'm old enough to go it's like you can say anything. I'm old enough to have this. I'm old enough to have a phone. I'm old enough. But you don't want to say exactly how old are you, but still you want to kind of don't want to decline also. So these are the techniques, and yeah, there are more gap fillers too, which we'll talk about in our next class. And yeah, so if you like this video and if you think it's useful, must subscribe to our channel English Medium. We'll be back with more classes and more things which will help you speak English fluently. And yeah, definitely, you will see me again in our next class. Bye bye.